VIPservices.co.uk sponsors UCMMA.
Okay, if you want more action, this one is the best welterweights in the country. Denniston Sutherland versus Jack the Stone Mason.
My name is Denniston Sutherland. I fight out of ML Martial Arts, same as Jiu-Jitsu and Team CrossFit.
Jack the Stone Mason. I'm 28 years old, fight at Tsunami Gym, and I'm from Chelmsford.
I'm one of the top middleweights in the country, and Jack has been looking at that for a while. He wants some of that.
We're both looking at a shot against Mark Weir, and you know, if either of us, you know, win tonight, we definitely deserve that shot.
Jack, tonight you're going to sleep, one way or another.
I'm going home the winner tonight. End of.
Denniston Sutherland is one of the most resilient MMA fighters in the country, but he's fighting Jack Mason, who's coming off the back of a huge knockout. The winner of this fight will definitely have their eyes on Mark Weir for a title shot.
Now this, for me, guys, is one of the big ones of the evening. Denniston Sutherland versus Jack Mason. And both these guys, real star power potential. Fantastic fighters to watch. Making his way to the cage now, Denniston comes into the cage at 37 years old, stands at 5'10", fighting out across Face Gym, and has a good, strong record of 13-6-0.
Denniston Sutherland's always dangerous, and for me, you can always judge somebody's record by the standard of the people who are on it. Denniston Sutherland's never ducked a challenge, never ducked anybody. He's fought Tom Watson, he's fought John Phillips, he's fought Jay Boswick, he's fought a lot of tough guys. He comes to fight, but he's going to have his hands full with Jack Mason.
Ian, I know you're a fan, if I can pick you up on something here of wrestling and how important wrestling is in MMA. I mean, you've seen Denniston before. He probably has one of the stronger wrestling games amongst the middleweights at the moment.
Denniston Sutherland was once picked as the best light heavyweight. He's dropping down a weight to middleweight now, but when he was a little bit heavier, he was running through the ranks of everybody.
Making his way to the cage now, someone we all know very, very well, Jack the Stone Mason. Fights out of the Tsunami Gym.
An impressive record of 12-6 on Jack Mason. You talk about somebody riding high on a performance. The knockout of the year for me last year was Jack Mason with that right hand that would have had Ivan Drago looking at the replay against Ula Bangbala, separated his man from his senses. And this is a fantastic middleweight test for him. A great point for both these fighters to meet.
This is definitely one of those fights where you do not have a definite winner. Most of the fights on UCMMA are really, really well matched, but this is one of the anticipated matchups where you just cannot pick a winner. You know, these guys are both, they are going to show everything for the crowd tonight. I am so excited about this matchup.
Well, Jack Mason, we're talking from Tsunami Gym. We can see his training partners there. Obviously, Robbie Olivier. You're looking at Tom Maguire there as well. He's a fantastic grappler first and foremost, but I mean, the evolution of his skills is apparent, and you've only got to look at that big knockout to see testament of that.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next contest is 3 rounds of fighting in the Ultimate Challenge middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 13 wins, 6 losses. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall. He weighed in at 84 kilograms. Fighting out of Team Crossface and Himmel Martial Arts, Denniston, Mad Max Sutherland. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 12 wins, 6 losses. He weighed in at 84 kilograms. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall. Fighting out of Tsunami Gym, Jack the Stone Mason. And when the action begins, the man in charge is Leon Roberts.
Gentlemen, center of case. Gents, you both know the rules, you both know exactly what I expect. Protect yourselves at all times, obey me at all times. If I ask you to break, I expect a good, clean break. Any questions? Any questions? Fight hard, fight fair, fight clean. Touch gloves, back to your corners. You ready to fight? You ready to fight? Bring it on, come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. This is one of the matchups I have been waiting for. Jack Mason versus Denniston Sutherland. Who has got what it takes? Oh! Uppercut from Denniston Sutherland, dropping down Jack Mason.
First shot straight on the chin. He rocked his man, and Sutherland moving to the mount position.
That was beautiful work. He dipped down, came up and under with a beautiful uppercut. Mason absolutely rocks. I don't even know if he's even come round to his senses yet. He's just literally surviving.
He is in survival mode. He is in survival mode, but it's just, his head will be clearing now. Wow, that took everybody by storm. Obviously it took Jack Mason by storm, but he's back to his feet. This is why he's in here. Jack the Stone Mason has recovered, and oh wow, I am breathless.
That was a huge, huge shot.
It's the kind of thing that could happen at any time when you look at these kind of explosive athletes. Mason's done unbelievably well to get himself out of that position and now have a good position up against the fence himself.
He's doing well by just hanging on there. He's getting his focus back. He's getting his faculties back. He's in the clinch. Denniston Sutherland can't do much from here. Once Mason's head is clear, I'm sure he will then start to attack. But very wisely, just holding on to Denniston Sutherland in the clinch until his head clears.
That's right, taking a breather, dips down low. They like the ankle kick. Denniston Sutherland obviously aware of that, keeps scooping away, using underhooks to keep Mason upright, but Mason looks shaken.
He doesn't look right, his eyes look a little bit glazed still. I mean, how much has that uppercut took out of him? More so a shock to the body because you don't expect it. I mean, he just came from an awkward angle and threw that uppercut. Nice takedown there by Mason. Sprawled well as Denniston.
He read his opponent's posture perfectly, then completes the takedown, waited for him to set his hips and throw that punch, shot underneath and was able to finish the double.
Well, it's something that all the Tsunami guys do incredibly well, is to win the takedown. It's from the ankle pick or they shoot and take it down. It's something they are very, very good at. Right now, Sutherland on his back. A slightly shaken Mason on top, just trying to, I guess, just re-establish himself in there.
Now working for the guillotine. It is in tight. That is a nice guillotine, pulling down really hard on the neck of Sutherland. Sutherland needs to get his head out here, and he does. Wow.
That was a tight guillotine. I think Sutherland did the right thing, using the posture to his advantage.
Going for the heel hook.
Both these fighters showing technique.
From one move to another, Rob.
Beautiful work. Sutherland, big shot.
Going again for the heel hook. I just want to be very, very careful about Jack Mason taking more punishment like that.
Has to be very careful here.
Sutherland doing well to avoid the heel hook. Mason wants to be very careful because if he takes another hard shot to the head, it could be good night.
And that's what you see from top-end submission grapplers. The submission that they first go for might not be the one they're looking to finish. It might be the setup to the next submission hold.
Mason again now looking for the single leg. Trying to work Sutherland down, but ends up being pulled upright by Sutherland. Both guys again against the cage.
Jack Mason really has weathered a storm in this round.
I'm impressed with Jack Mason. He just seems to be getting better and better with every fight. I know he's just been knocked down. I know he's fighting a really, really class opponent in Denniston Sutherland, but it just looks as if he's getting better with each fight he has.
Scoops in with the underhook, tries to keep Sutherland at bay. And I mean, Ian, for those that are at home possibly watching this thinking, why aren't they throwing more punches? The technical side of this at the moment is absolutely brilliant.
When you're in a clinch like this, a lot of people think you're just grabbing a hold of each other, but Greco-Roman, there is a lot of skill going on. And also, Greco-Roman has been proven to be very, very hard on the cardiovascular lungs. There was a test done where they done kickboxing, striking, and they did ground grappling, and they also done Greco-Roman. Greco-Roman actually wore you out more than any of the other three.
Standing guillotine,
and a guillotine again. This is tighter.
And this time he's locked the guard.
Really tight.
Sutherland trying to work his way out, trying to keep and he's going to, his head slightly moving. Mason trying to lock it in tight with a body triangle as well. Sutherland just moving on his toes, trying to find any space for air that he can.
Mason needs to shrimp those hips up forward. He's got the body locked really well, but he needs to push his hips forward. If he pushes his hips forward, that will cause more pressure on the neck, on the carotid arteries of Denniston Sutherland. But Sutherland doing really well and relaxing. How much pressure is this put on the arms of Jack Mason? Because your arms will get pumped up really tight. Wow.
And a big shot from Sutherland from the top. That's got to have taken a lot out of Jack Mason. But he did the right thing, knowing that the round was nearly finished. Sutherland looking to finish himself now, though. And what an action-packed round, gentlemen, from start to finish.
You couldn't have asked for any more. That was an action-packed round.
And guys, we've got to see the replay on that shot. I mean, that punch to open it up was absolutely awesome. I mean, this is the dip and duck that he does is absolutely beautiful.
Mason just pouring that jab out there.
And you can see, look at that.
Beautiful right uppercut.
Timing was absolutely spot on. He slipped under and in. Fantastic shot. And Mason, I mean, all credit to Jack Mason, and as you said, he basically spent the round recovering, was able to fight back, and we saw him attempt this technique twice. You know, he really did get his faculties back.
But that's an intelligent fighter. An unintelligent fighter would have just tried to throw punches back while his head was still in the clouds. But Jack Mason didn't. What he did, he clinched up to Denniston Sutherland, and he waited until his head cleared. That is a thinking fighter.
Beautiful first round for both guys, but I mean, only one person can really win it during that round. Do you think Sutherland would have taken it because of the strike?
Oh, he's definitely gained the points in the judge's eyes with that knockdown. You know, it was very close, but then again, Jack Mason did attempt 2 submissions.
I think what Sutherland also did well was he finished the round in a really dominant position. He was on top, he was the one throwing the strikes, and that does leave an impression with the judges.
Right back to me, Jack.
So here we go, round 2 of what has been so far an absolute war.
You ready to fight?
Technical in the clinch.
Bring it on, come on.
Technical standing up, technical on the ground.
But what makes a good fighter and a real fighter is to come back after punishment like that. Everyone can win when they are on top and they are doing well, but when you've been knocked down like this, when you've been dominated on top with strikes and come back and show dominance of your own, that's what makes a real fighter. And has Jack Mason got the makings of a real fighter? I think he has.
Sutherland there, missed with a loop in left.
You're right with that, Ian. It's the old adage of being tough as the hammer and tough as the nail. And Jack Mason, he's done well to get his faculties back, as we've said. Quite standoffish at this point, both fighters respecting. And you've got to think from Mason's point of view, he's going to respect Sutherland striking a lot more now. That first shot's going to have maybe changed his complete game plan.
Exactly, I was thinking that myself, Ben. The reason he doesn't want to commit in case Denniston Sutherland comes out with another crazy type punch. Nice job there by Mason.
A nod of respect from Sutherland as well. And it's there, he's dipping and ducking again. That left just clipped Mason, but Mason able to shoot for the takedown. This time Mason looking to scoop his man up, brings him down awkwardly. Sutherland does a good job fighting his way back up to his feet.
Just the wrong angle for the double leg there, and as he was trying to transition to the single or to the high crotch, Sutherland did the right thing and stood himself up. And both fighters are back to this clinch situation now. Sutherland's going to try and pummel one of those underhooks through if he can.
cage control like this it's very skillful. You know, it's very hard to stay on your feet when someone's trying to take you down. It's very hard to get back to your feet once you're being took down. And if you see a fighter actually defending the takedown, getting straight back to his feet, you know that he's done many hours in the gym practicing this, because it's not as easy as it looks.
Sutherland with a high guard, aware that Mason can throw lever as well.
Sutherland, the aggressor for me at this point, gentlemen, walking forward, looking to make things happen more. He's the one pressing the action, and that as well leaves an impression with the judges.
I think Mason is just worried in case another awkward punch comes up. Oh, high arm. I thought he had the high triangle there, the high arm triangle.
Good knee inside from Mason. But Sutherland, as you said, Ben, just stalking Mason at the moment. I think Mason has been really shaken by those dipping shots that Sutherland's throwing, and he's not sure quite how to deal with them.
What I like that Mason's doing is, even though he's wary of those hands, he's still making a really good job of reading the posture of where the strikes are going to come from. And twice, as much as he hasn't been able to properly complete, he's timed going underneath those punches with a takedown perfectly.
We've now got 2 minutes left in this, the second round, and Jack Mason has actually been backing off away from Denniston Sutherland's punches. I think what he needs to do now, he needs to actually trick Denniston Sutherland if it comes back to the stand in the middle of the ring. What he needs to do is pretend that he's going to back off and shoot, and then just come in with a nice flurry of his own. He will catch Denniston Sutherland off guard. Now, will he do it now? Now, this is his chance. But if you just back off all the time, you were just going to tell Denniston what you were going to do.
Mason skipping round, Sutherland dominating the centre at the moment. Walking his man down. Good leg kick from Denniston, but Mason able to win the takedown, does well to do so.
He does really well to do so, because you could see that coming off. If someone backs off as much as that, you can guarantee a takedown coming.
So just over a minute left of this, the second round. Mason in the half guard of Denniston Sutherland.
Mason needs to work a little bit harder than this. You can't just lie on someone, especially when you're down around and haven't been knocked down like that. He needs to posture up, he needs to put a cross face across Denniston Sutherland, put his forearm across his face, posture up, and then rain down some big heavy bombs.
Do you think, though, Ian, some of that could be him still recovering?
You could be right, Rob. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know how hard that punch was. It did look as if he recovered. He did get back to his feet. But is his head still ringing? Is it still cloudy? We don't know.
Mason doing just about enough to avoid the restart, but referee Leon Roberts is all over the situation, constantly instructing the fighters need to stay busy. Just taking...
Yeah, both fighters at the moment just throwing shots to keep the fight busy. Neither man looking to finish from this position.
And it's not going to win you the round just lying like that. You need to do something that little bit more.
Just about 10 seconds left of the rounds.
Denniston comes forward again with those wild hooks. Mason ties his man up, and we've got this clinch situation again.
So, guys, the second round a lot slower.
A lot slower, but I still think Denniston Sutherland, I think Jack Mason needs to change his game plan. What he's doing every time he gets to his feet in the middle of the ring, he is backing off, and then shoot. What he wants to be careful of is that Denniston Sutherland doesn't throw a big knee. I think what Jack Mason needs to do, because obviously Denniston Sutherland's doing everything right, he's winning this fight, but what Jack Mason needs to do is back off, make Denniston think that he's going to shoot, and then come in with a big flurry of strong punches. He needs to catch Denniston off his guard.
So do you think the second round possibly to Denniston as well?
I think so.
Certainly a lot closer fight in the closer round than the first round.
But Denniston was actually pushing the action. If you notice in the judge's eyes, Jack Mason is backing off. I'm not saying he's backing off because he's worried of Denniston. He's backing off because he wants the takedown. But in the judge's eyes, he's backing off and he's not committing to the fight.
That also gives Denniston ring control.
Exactly.
And when we often hear the phrase effective aggression, and I mean, that's the guy coming forward is constantly demonstrating that.
So here we go.
Okay, third and final. You ready to fight? You ready to fight? Bring it on me, come on.
Well, Denniston has nothing to prove in this round. He just needs to keep on doing what he's doing. But Jack Mason needs to step up just that little bit more.
Denniston coming forward, nice leg kick there. Mason looks to close from here. And once again, back into this clinch position.
Good from Sutherland, straight in with the underhook. Give himself a more controlling position.
It may simply come down to a battle of wills at this point. We're talking about a fight that goes on of this nature. I'm reminded of the words of the great American wrestler Dan Gable, who said the first round is won by the best fighter, the second round by the best athlete, but the third by the guy with the biggest heart. And I think that's what we're going to see right here.
I think you're right, Ben. But Denniston Sutherland just tying his man up. He knows he doesn't have to do much more than this because he's dominating, he's controlling his guy. He doesn't have to win by knockout or submission because it looks as if he's already won 2 rounds. It is Jack Mason that has to start working hard now. I'm not trying to say that Jack Mason needs to seem desperate, but what he does need to do is start putting on the pressure.
This would have been a very tough, fatiguing fight for both these guys. I mean, they've spent a lot of time against the cage.
But they're athletes, they should be fit enough to go 5 rounds, not just 3 rounds. When I train and I get ready for a fight, I used to always train hard as if it was going to be a 5-round fight. So no matter how hard I was pushed, I knew I would always finish strong in the 3rd.
Sutherland just happy to pick away with those small knees, chipping away.
Mason's got it. Like you said very well, Arian, he doesn't need to become desperate, but it's a fine line between desperation and aggression. He's got to turn that switch on and realise that he is losing this fight in the eyes of the judges more than likely.
So Mason looked to the clock. He knows there's 3 minutes left on it.
As ironic as this sounds, that first punch right at the beginning has actually won this fight because Jack Mason, you can see he does not want to be hit again. He's backing off all the time. As soon as Denniston Sutherland throws a punch, he's just trying to clinch. He needs to be a little bit more dominant on his feet. And we know that Jack Mason can strike. We know he can. We've seen him do it. We've seen him knock people out. But Denniston Sutherland has took all that away from that very first uppercut.
That's right, took the confidence out with that huge uppercut.
And Sutherland continually coming forward. It's become somewhat of a pattern in this fight, and you picked up on it very well. Mason can surely only be looking for the takedown while he's backing up, waiting for his man to commit, and straight into the double leg there.
There you go. Off the back of the cage, straight into the takedown.
Nice sprawl by Sutherland. That was great takedown defense.
Beautiful work by Sutherland. Got himself out of trouble and followed it with a knee, and that was a right hand that clipped Mason there. He needs to be very, very careful, leaving himself open for those big shots.
You know, there's some fighters out there that actually make you just go into a pattern. I think Denniston Sutherland's made Jack Mason just go into
nice straight shot
and a knee.
Sutherland, very tight combinations when he does release those hands.
Oh, nice elbow standing there by Denniston Sutherland. He pushed off the face and a big elbow and a big right hand. Very, very clever fighters, Denniston.
Mason in trouble at the moment.
We've talked about the striking of Denniston Sutherland, gentlemen, but let's talk about the chin of Jack Mason. He's taken some massive shots throughout this.
Well, 1 minute, 10 seconds left to go. Jack Mason needs to pull out a submission or a nice knockout to win this fight, I believe. Methodically is Denniston Sutherland wearing down Jack the Stone Mason. Backing off once again, getting ready for that shot.
Clipped again twice from the left and the right by Sutherland. Oh, backhand there as well. Sutherland just totally dominating this fight now.
What Jack Mason has left in his arsenal, he just needs to bring it out now. Whatever little energy he has, he needs to explode. 30 seconds left. Denniston Sutherland stalking his man. Nice uppercut again there by Denniston.
Mason goes into a clinch, probably not the best situation for him to get some kind of fight finish from here. Surely you've got to think he needs to back his man off and just throw strikes, go for broke.
Ben, you are absolutely correct.
Time's ticking at this point, last 10 seconds. Sutherland seems to have done just about enough.
Good work from Sutherland. He's done brilliantly throughout this fight from that opening shot. Great work.
So if we look at the replay coming up, a fantastic fight from start to finish here. Here we see Denniston coming in maybe looking for the and he's thrown a nice uppercut there and lands that straight punch. I mean, Rob, we talked about it, that the punch at the start may well have won in the fight. It seemed to take all the wind out of Jack Mason's sails, and more importantly, it seemed to take the confidence as well, as we see Mason coming forward but neutralised by Sutherland.
I've got to be honest with you, I was very impressed by Sutherland tonight. He looked in great shape, he looked very commanding, and his hands looked very neat. When he was inside, his movement looked very sharp, very tidy, and it kept Mason literally at bay.
I mean, this is a big fight for both fighters. Both fighters are of that name level where a win for either against the other would do a massive amount for their career.
And I think it has done.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner. After 3 rounds of mixed martial arts action, your winner by unanimous decision, fighting out of the red corner, Denniston, Mad Max Sutherland. And your runner-up, Jack the Stone Mason.
Mad Max, good fight. I thought you had him from the first round with the uppercut, but Jack just showed amazing resilience to come back and take it to a decision.
He's tougher than I thought, man. I thought he'd give up after the first beating. But no, he's a tough dude. Respect to you, Jack.
Definitely, amazing fight, really good, showed a lot of resilience. Now, we're moving forward. Mark Weir is definitely in your sights, right?
Mark Weir, you're next.
Well, Dave, you heard it. Are we going to get that one on? Mark Weir versus Denniston Sutherland. What are you talking about?
Mate, I'll see what I can do.
That's what we want to see, mate.
I know Mark Weir's watching at home going, Denniston, yes, I'll have you.
Give it up one more time for your winner, Denniston, Mad Max Sutherland.
VIPservices.co.uk sponsors UCMMA.